Hi, good morning, Jared.
Good morning.
Hi, so you drove all the way up here to Quebec City to visit your tiny house, and that's going to be your future house, you think, for the next few years, maybe?
Potentially.
Great. Well, what made you wanted to do that?
Simplicity.
Okay.
Less is more sometimes.
Okay. And can you tell me about your current living situation right now?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm in a 2-bedroom, 2-bath. I live with my brother, and you know, and I have my dog.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And when you say you wanted to simplify, what does that mean to you?
Simplify is about just having less things, personal objects. Is a big part of it.
So be a minimalist, in other words.
Yes.
Okay. And so we're going to see this tiny house that you searched online, or you found online, you saw videos, and so you've never seen it before.
I haven't.
Okay. So can you tell us a little bit more, kind of describe in your own words, you know, what that tiny house is?
Sure. So they build it on a trailer. Some people would consider like an RV trailer. I think it's about 30 feet long.
Okay.
And I think about 10 to 12 feet high is what they built it on. And just like any house, it would have a kitchen, a bathroom, a living area, and a communal area as well.
Okay. Well, I mean, what about utilities, right? That's the thing that's on a lot of people's minds.
Yeah.
How are you going to connect the electricity, the water and sewer, the gas? Have you thought about that?
Yeah, so actually they've been really great when I've talked to them about that, and obviously research online has helped me understand it a little bit more. So there's two ways of doing it. Some of these mini houses allow you to go quote-unquote off-grid, and off-grid allows you to live anywhere in the world off of it, and it might run on things like solar panels and water tanks that are built within the actual house themselves, or propane tanks that you refill as you run out.
Do you have a choice? So you know what you wanted to do for electricity, what you wanted to do for gas, and all that.
Absolutely.
Okay. And so what's your plan? Like, where are you going to put this?
So I have a parking lot adjacent to one of my properties in the Brighton, Mass area.
Okay. The
So
parking lot is big enough?
it is, yeah, I measured it out. So again, the trailer is about 30 feet, and I have a space that's probably about 40. So.
Okay. So do you think that the building inspector will allow you to do that?
I don't know if the building inspector will even get involved, just due to the fact that it's on wheels. So
okay.
it's not a permanent structure with a foundation.
That's true,
So
right. Okay. You think you're going to receive mail over there?
I don't know. Perhaps.
Going to have an address, perhaps?
I don't know if I've thought that far, but there's a
Okay.
good chance that I would maybe get mail one day.
Sure. So I think another question too is that that's a lot of people's mind. Are you going to pay taxes? Is there property tax, do you think?
I don't think it's a property tax, again, because it's not a foundation. I pay tax on the land itself that I already have. I think much like an RV or a vehicle that you may own, you have something like excise tax that would play a part, but it's nowhere to the extent of you know, the taxes you may pay on property.
I see. Well, it seems like you did a lot of research on this.
Prior planning prevents poor performance.
Okay. Well, are you excited?
I am, of course, yes.
Okay, great. Well, let's go see this tiny house.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Hi!
This is Elise.
Hello, how are you?
Good, and you?
Beautiful, thank you.
Hi, I'm Christy. Hi, nice to meet you.
So yeah, he just explained us that he was just coming here for a short period of time just to visit us, and so we can show him the model and you can see how we work here, how we're organized. And so the purpose of his visit today is only to actually touch base with us and see if it will be a good fit.
Yeah.
And we can actually meet up. And
You showed the master bedroom, didn't you, in the video? Is
Yeah.
that you?
Yeah.
There it is! Very cool.
yeah, so it's been like maybe almost 2.5 years since we're here, and now we have the whole place here.
Yeah.
At first we didn't have the office and the mezzanine, but now we're all over the place, so we arrange everything. We got the workshop there, the paint shop on top there. We got some storage.
Cool.
And, we got two, there's an office there, and the main office is
Do you guys build 100% of it here? Or is there stuff that happens off-site too?
Nothing happens off-site actually. The only thing we do outside is we assemble the structural insulated panels outside.
Yeah.
So we bring the trailer outside, we put up the pieces together to make sort of the Lego block, if you want.
Wow.
With this thing here, and then we put it back in and we do everything inside.
So
we have
you
the
have
best
a spray
conditions.
booth there, then you do all the panels?
No, it's just like hand painting and everything,
really?
because we don't have to spray paint. We have a painter that goes inside the house to make the painting in place.
Very cool.
Yeah, we work with contractors for plumbing, electricity, propane, and solar system and everything.
Yeah. And painting?
Yeah, and painting as well.
And typically, when you're like from the beginning, you guys get a trailer to like kind of a finished product without weather dependency. What is like your start to end?
6 weeks around,
That's
depending
awesome.
on the project. Yeah, and we're getting faster. The recipe's better than in the beginning.
Yeah.
Well. And these walls are magical. We really recommend it. We wish every tiny house company used these.
What is that? How is it different than?
Because when you do some stick frame, you create some thermal bridges, right?
Right.
So if the cold gets in, you don't really have an effective R value. You're
Right.
familiar with R value.
Yep.
And with
22, 19.
yeah,
good old
exactly.
paint.
So these, as you can see, there's some sheeting outside and inside, but it's compressed. So here, the cold cannot go in because there's no thermal bridges. In a regular.
So this is entire solid.
Exactly.
Wow.
It's filled with that. So it's one big panel. So there's no like big studs and some.
What is the R value of this by itself?
Just this by itself is R16.
Wow.
But with the installation we have up to R23 depending on what we put inside the wall.
But this is an effective one?
Yeah, it's effective. So let's say you compare with typical stick frame.
Yeah.
The difference is you don't get the effective R value. You have to make the calculation to have the effective R value because it's always technical based on the layers.
Yeah.
But they don't consider the stick frame that create the thermal bridges. So when you make the calculation to get the R value, the effective, so that one is always effective. So that's the
So is this one big piece or are there multiple pieces within it?
You can see there's joints, but it's all made in their factory. So they bring us that wall, complete wall. So there's no like big studs to create a thermal
because
bridge.
like when we house build, it's 16 on center, right? And it's like
exactly. And
there's tons of it.
Yeah, and with this, they make see all the openings?
Yeah.
They're made with a CNC, so it's rolled up on a machine and then, exactly, based on our plans. And we save big time as well.
So how much out of your building or different homes, because you guys have how many models now?
12.
How many things are usable within the 12? You know what I mean? Does that make sense? Like you can interchange. Like, do you use or is every single piece out of every single one different? Like when you build a car, sometimes they use a dashboard. From
but here it's the only thing that's all the same is the type of materials, but the layout and the arrangements are all different.
So that's tough for you.
Yeah, and not even like 5%. It's always like. The closest, like that model is the Magnolia. We call it Magnolia XL because it's 2 feet wider, and the interior layout is gonna mirrored, but it's still similar to the other model, but still that's a complete other thing.
Wow, so you can't use anything from it. You built this on spec for that model, right?
Yeah, and that allows us to. The more complicated for a carpenter is to stick frame the openings and everything, and then when it's always different, it's kind of hard because you cannot pre-cut some stuff. But with this, it doesn't change the price for him to put the window at that placement or this placement and everything. The machine does it, so you don't have to always start from scratch, and you avoid some mistakes. Like, I mean, of course it's handmade, but when guys measuring and everything, there's always a risk of mistakes, and you kind of avoid it with that.
Wow. So what else do you think separates you guys as builders of tiny houses versus like some other this is huge, obviously.
Yeah, it's huge, but we can make smaller models as well. Cool. But we're not gonna lower the standard of conception in structural components and everything. We don't offer like stuff that we would never want for ourselves as well.
Right.
For example, here we have the subfloor, which is different. A lot of companies in the United States, even in Canada, some people start with the plywood straight on the trailer frame.
Okay.
So that thing we never should do that, because there's tons of companies that have problems with houses that are like 5 years old and there's already mold in the walls and everything because they install the plywood straight on the steel frame, and then they build the house on this, and then what creates condensation, and then it goes from from behind, and it takes the structure, and then it's done.
Makes
There's
sense.
nothing you can do. So here we have a subfloor that's the main composition of the exterior walls. So here, as you can see, well, actually, I'm not gonna make you
No, it's okay.
lay down, but so this is the same thing that you can see a house wrap, but that one is more stiff than house wrap. So we the underneath of the house is wrapped pretty much like the exterior wall.
Right.
So that way,
Makes sense.
Yeah, the
It's
insulation.
weatherproofing.
Yeah, exactly. And here for the wheel wells, what happens is most of the companies, they just sit stuff on the wheel wells.
Right.
And that's not meant for this. We should never install like a door on it. Sometimes you see houses that have a door above the wheel wells and there's no space. I mean, there's a big lack of thinking in this, and so we make standard houses on wheels. So it's not an assembly of let's say RV style stuff.
Yeah.
So
I love your logo, man. Less is home. I love it.
and so yeah, and with the new structural insulated panels, we realized that that might be the best thing that ever happened, and we're gonna keep doing that. And we recommend other tiny house companies to do the same, because on the long term it's going to be more effective, and not only cost effective, but the kind gets a product that is more stiff as well. These panels are used in Japan and Mexico because of the earthquakes and everything. So structurally, this is the best thing you can do for tiny houses. So
what other aspects about tiny houses do you see people when they buy other ones, or you're even concerned when you guys started building them, were different than, or even relative to other houses? Like, is there anything else with the tiny house before I buy one that you say, you know, these are things that we are aware of in a tiny house that might be different? Like, obviously, the structural,
there's a lot of stuff as well.
Right?
HVAC, for instance, a lot of tiny house companies, they don't install some air exchangers, and they don't install some hood vents and stuff like that, and bathroom fans. We see more and more bathroom fans. Of course, it's just basic stuff. You need to have a bathroom fan. And if we have a house that is airtight like that, we need to have air exchanger. You don't rely on opening the windows a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, these are airtight. I mean, it's
what's the change out?
change out the rate.
Yeah,
we have this.
It depends on the square footage, right? So.
Yeah, but I mean, there's a calculation, and we've put tests on this, so we have some
Yeah,
data
because in a
on
new
that.
construction, they require it.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
They have to when we build a house.
And we're working, sometimes people write us, engineers, architects, and we exchange, and they see our plans, and they're like, I've been working in the industry, I've never seen some detailed plans like that. I mean, you work like you're working on a real construction site.
Yeah.
So that's why people have sort of a trust. They know that we're dealing with architects, and we take consideration for structural components, and you know that you're not going to have big troubles structurally on the long term as well.
Right.
And like I said, for the HVAC, some people don't really take, they offer the option to have a ceiling fan or a hood vent. I mean, for us, we don't put that as an option.
Right.
It's included in the base price because we won't build a house that doesn't include all these features. And besides that,
the connection, like water and electricity, is different from another.
yeah, especially here in Canada, we're kind of afraid of cold, so we're gonna see a lot of tiny house companies because it's all right to do stick frame. We've done that in the past, and you can do a great job with stick frame. But what happens is some people they install the plumbing through the exterior wall, even though you
can't do it on a house. Well, you can do it on a tiny house, right?
Exactly, and you see that, and they're like, yeah, well, it's not that cold here, but you don't do that. You
right.
don't, what happens if there's a problem and everything?
Frozen pipes.
For us, everything's inside because we do furring strips. You're familiar with that?
Furring. Yeah,
exactly.
How thick are your furring strips?
5/8.
Okay, so it's enough for.
Yeah, and on the inside it's a double, so we can have the wires going in without having to put holes in the wall, and we can even do some of the plumbing inside, but between the window slats. So if you have for instance, a radiant floor, we can have the wires going in and going through the walls. So same thing. Sometimes they spray foam the structure with the insulation in the wall, and then when there's a trouble,
you gotta cut it open.
Yeah, you have to cut it open.
Yeah, that was one of my questions actually. Is literally like, what happens if there's a pipe burst, and you're telling me it's on the interior, but
yeah, in the interior divisions of the bathroom, that's where the everything.
So you have more or less these walls, a furring strip of 5/8, the electrical and plumbing run within it, and then the drywall on top of it.
It's not drywall. We're working with wood, wood pine.
Wood pine for the walls.
Yeah.
Oh, no kidding.
You can see that. We won't get to do gypsum.
Wow.
Not at all, because even though the house doesn't really move, it's kind of stiff on the road.
Yeah.
I mean, gypsum is. I mean, we don't do that. We don't like it. We're working with wood, so that way you're gonna see this the same material as the house I'm gonna show you.
Wow.
This is jointed pine. It comes with the primer on it.
Yeah.
Only 16 feet, so we just do it like that.
Yeah.
And,
So can you see the seams, or you filled them?
the seams you're gonna see it in the
Okay,
house.
cool.
And there's different profiles as well for these, but that's typically what we're using.
Interesting.
And this is what we use for the ceiling. It's it's
you
pine
showed
as
me.
well. It's knotted pine.
You like it colored. Your preference.
Oh yeah, for the top of the magnolia. Yeah, so that one is gonna. In the first magnolia, it was a white ceiling,
Yeah.
and that one's gonna be
Burnt.
yeah, stained ceiling.
Cool.
Exactly.
And
So yeah, that's the pebble. So you can see the interior of the wall in this strip. If you want to see what, that's just a sample.
And what it gets built crossbeam wise for the structural, for the roof, and
You
things
don't
like
need that.
Really?
Because the structure of the roof is thicker than the walls.
Yeah.
And for the how do you call that?
That's the roof.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And on each section, there's a 2x6 when they join together. So let's say they have a 10 feet distance between the two walls.
Sure.
That here is plenty. It's more than enough to support any. You can have a rooftop terrace on it if you want. So for the snow load, there's no worry about it.
Wow.
So you don't have to put like big pieces of wood and cross beams.
Is that
and
spray foam?
it's the same thing.
Oh, it's the same thing. So
Yeah,
cross.
it's sort
Wow.
of a big sandwich, and I can send you the website. They have this technical sheet, so you can see all the properties and all the technical calculations for the resistance and the wind and everything.
Wow.
So,
Yeah, you were telling me it was pretty much like no energy loss at all.
No, exactly. It's kind of surprising as well. And you get to have a house that doesn't like cost you a lot on electricity. You keep your
That's
warm
huge.
hair in the
It's
winter.
minimalism to the best degree.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. That's when you reduce your footprint and you reduce your energy bill as well. So that's the best of both worlds. Actually.
Very cool.
Yeah, and we're working with tiny home builders for this trailer, and they're doing like great trailers as well, super stiff, and they're always like top notch.
Is the trailers play a big piece, obviously,
Yeah,
because it's the
exactly.
foundation of the house?
Yeah, it is.
What separates kind of the trailers that you guys pick from like other people's?
The structure, the thickness of the steel and everything, the distance between the joists, and the way we have to fix it with the plate here, we got some bolts that go straight into the wood structure every 24 inches. Sometimes you're gonna see people building on you're gonna see like a 35 or 30 feet long house, and you're like, that's a double axle. That's never gonna be enough to support a house that is properly insulated and that has like everything that the house requires. So here you get 3 8,000 pound axles, so that house is good for 24,000 pounds. Of course, it's going to be a big one, but you don't want to end up like way too close to the maximum capacity of your axle, right? And that's one thing. And sometimes you're going to see people using like RV frames to put a tiny house on it. You can do like a 2 or 3 season, and I wouldn't call it a tiny house. I would call it maybe a mobile camp or something.
A temporary house.
Yeah, exactly. Because when we talk with full-time living, we have to take consideration and build a house that is full-time living. Let's say you're in Texas and you had a house built, and then you change your plans, you have to move or something, and you put your house on a tiny home listing or a tiny house listing. You want everybody to be able to buy your house, no matter where they are. And you're like, okay, if I'm in Colorado, that house won't be able to support the temperature. So the wall cut, the wall section of our walls is good for California or Yukon. I mean, it's the same. You have to act the same because we have the extreme opposite here. We have cold weather, humidity. We have hot weather in the summer. So the house needs to be able to support both climates, right?
Does that get expansion, or is that
No, it's dead.
Nothing, huh?
It's dead.
Wow.
And people are like, because OSB, some people before, they were having questions about OSB in terms of ecological and with the glue they have and everything.
Sure.
But nowadays, all the companies, it's either plywood or OSB, they're using glue that has low VOC and everything. And these are actually more eco-friendly than plywood, because plywood requires to use big trees, like trees that are kind of big, because they strip the wood and everything. But these, you can do that on younger trees, because it's all pieces of wood. And so yeah, you can.
So what do you call that?
OSB.
OSB.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So it stands for Oriented Strand Board. So it's a mix of.
Does that cost less or more than?
It's cheaper actually on.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's great shit.
Yeah, and it's like 2 pounds, 2 pounds more heavy for a sheet of 4x8. Let's say, for instance, I think a 4x8 sheet of this is around like 45 pounds, and a plywood would be like 42 or 43.
Is it denser or thicker? What does the weight come from?
I can't tell actually.
Interesting. And that's what you guys use on the floors too? So the roof is the same, or is it different?
No, it's the same. Wow. The roof, the floor, and the walls is the same structure, but the roof is thicker for actually structural properties and for insulation. This is where you're normally losing the more heat is down on the top.
Right. Heat rises.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And that's why we always use the ceiling fan as well, because it's not only a nice feature to have, it's a must-have, because the heat is going up, and then after that you just push it up, push it all in the room, and that creates. And with the air exchanger that pushes, and so there's no ducts, so it's ductless ventilation system for and it's heat recovery. So and it works on 12 volts. It's
awesome.
Yeah, sure. And actually, we can go and check it out.
Awesome. So is this one of your bigger?
Yeah, that's the biggest we've done so far. Actually, as you can see, we can do a lot more than that.
Honestly, though, it's a huge. I mean, it's a great size.
How many square feet is this?
Oh man, because the loft is going to be so huge as well. Yeah, so maybe it's going to be a total of almost like 500.
500 square feet.
Yeah, total.
And this is one of the biggest.
That one is rooftop deck.
What, this one?
Yeah.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, and it's going to be
this is the XL version?
Yeah, it's going to be
Can you do that on the other non-XL, the regular Mega Ball?
Yeah,
really?
Sure. Yeah, you need to have the skylight in the.
So will it have what, like a fence on top? Like, what's that going to look like?
Because these houses are meant to be installed for long periods of time. We can do the deck, but I mean, sometimes you see some foldable aluminum and everything. It's all right, but with the cost, it's not worth it if you're staying like 5 years over there.
Right.
Some people change their patio like more
so
often.
You just
than that.
you do the finished patio.
We're going to do the finished patio and make maybe some section to just assemble on site.
Yeah.
I think that's the cheapest, cost-wise way to do it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay.
Can we see a visual of this? Do you have like a?
Yeah, we got plans.
Oh, okay.
We don't have a 3D render though, but
I see.
We can.
Is it okay if we see a plan of this? How the finished product
looks
like?
Later, we're gonna go out.
Okay.
Yeah, we can show you some stuff we work with.
Well, actually, yes, the plans are really
cool.
How many years have you been building? Just in general?
It's since 2015. That's when the first prototype was built, actually, and it was sold on Tiny House listing to a lady in Arkansas, and that's when we opened up to the
what
American
made you get
market.
into this? I mean, like in general.
Actually, I was not the one that had the idea at first, but it was one of my friends, and he wanted to do eco-friendly renovation company, and he wanted to do a tiny house just to promote this company. And while he was doing it, I mean, we were telling him
that way.
Yeah, and we're like, this is the product, man. Don't look anywhere else. So that's it. So after that, we jumped in the company, me and Elise, and we're pushing it. We're dreaming and. And actually, yesterday, the lady from California that owns this tiny house, she came up with her mother from California yesterday to visit us and see her model for the first time.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, it's one of the best moments. That's her best moment.
Yeah.
When the client comes.
Oh, yes.
She deals with the client all the time.
I get to work with you then.
Yeah.
Yes, you will. So yeah, that's a good plan. Yeah. And in this version, we're gonna have a bath. So.
It's in the loft. There's this skylight, and we put.
And you get this big loft there. So basically, this part here is this part here. So the door will be right there.
Yeah. Okay. Very nice.
That would be this part. She got like 6 cats.
Oh,
so
okay.
we got like 2 spots for litters, litters box.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, and that would be the TV spot.
Nice. Okay.
And that would be the storage in the...
So there's one front entrance, right? One door for the front entrance?
Yes, but we do have egress windows in the bedroom.
I see.
So we always have 2 spots to exit the house in case of an emergency.
Any fire prevention? Smoke alarms?
Yeah,
like
yes, of course. Yes, we
okay.
have a smoke alarms, extinguisher, and we do have CO detector too. And if we have propane, we're gonna have propane detector too. But because this is a very tight space, so CO detector is very important in case that the luminaires doesn't work or something. So, and this is the electrical plan, so you can see like all the lights in the bathroom.
So where is the electricity coming from?
The electrical panel will be there. So outside we have 20 feet long 50 amp wire. So it depends on this house. We're gonna have a 100 amp wire, and it needs to be connected directly into an electrical panel outside the house. So the customer provide the electricity on the spot, because like a male and female outlet is like $2,000 for 100 amp, but for 50 amp is very cheap. So this one is totally electrical, but you could have solar panels and propane too.
So that's an option as well.
Yeah, that's an option as well. Yeah. But it's a bit more expensive than electricity because all the solar system, batteries, inverter cost a lot, but also all the appliances that needs to run on propane or 12 volt. Like as an example, the fridge is $2,000 compares to a standard fridge, which is like $800. You know. And this is all the lights, and this is the plumbing system.
So. Okay, sure. Can you show us where the kitchen is, the bathroom?
Yes, the kitchen is here actually. So we have the fridge here, a countertop here, the pull-out pantry right there, and the closet when you enter the house with some hooks. And here we have another part of the countertop, but also kind of peninsula, so you can eat there at the same time. We have the sink there, and this is another version of the plans, but we have the cooktop there, and we're gonna have the wall oven right there. And so the
yeah, this is the bathroom right here, right?
Yeah, in the
bathroom. This is a bedroom.
Yes, and this is the bathroom. So we have the washer dryer right there, the storage, the vanity, the composting toilet. So if you have a standard toilet, you're gonna have another legend here for the black water system.
Got it.
Going there. We have a shower bath right there and a water heater. 40 gallons right there. And then we go inside the bathroom. And then once we agree on the floor plan,
it's gonna require to remove your shoes, please.
Okay, sure.
We're Asian, so we're used to that.
So yeah, so the house is pretty much like 95% done. This is the one we're gonna use at the home show that we're going in 3 weeks and a half.
Okay, cool.
And yeah, so everything is pretty much based on her desires, her wishes, what she wanted, the colors, the shaker style, the colors of the cabinet, the walnut countertop, the type of backsplash. This print here is the same type of material, but this print here That's
it's actually a print. It's not actual tile. So what is that?
that's
This is interesting.
I love that.
yeah, that's
for houses.
it's aluminum. It's a PVC core with an aluminum sheet, aluminum layer on it, and there's the print on it,
No
and then
way.
it's epoxy glaze on it. And it's flexible, it's lightweight, but I mean,
You can design anything.
yeah, and you're gonna see the shower panels are the same material. And
That is the coolest thing.
And actually, this here is the client's a photographer.
Yeah.
And she took a picture of a vase she had in her apartment, and that's the
No
pattern they
way.
created for that little accent that she wanted.
And what's that cost? And maybe this is a weird question, per square foot, because when we install,
$25.
So it's expensive per square foot. So, but actually,
you are on your numbers. I love it.
we don't recommend having like real subway tiles on this type of
Yeah,
dwelling.
because it breaks it.
Yeah, and even though you can see that breaking in some regular houses, so we don't want to have trouble on the long term because we ship houses all the time, like in long distances.
Yeah.
You're not gonna have like breaking
Yeah, the
grouts
grout
and
and-
everything. And you avoid time in there, and it's lightweight as well.
Is this stable enough to be on floors and ceilings too?
They do that for floors and ceilings, but
way.
yeah, I've seen that they created like a
sky.
fake sky, yeah, in a big open area, and
Yeah.
I mean, you really think that you're like outside. It's ridiculous.
Wow, yeah.
And it's a Quebec-based company. They're starting to export in all over North America, so it's growing, and yeah, they have new products all the time.
Now, can you add, like, is this, it feels like it's sealed above the actual image. If you wanted to change this and make it like a blue tile, do you take the whole thing off and
You have to do a new one though.
Okay, got
yeah.
it. Got it.
Yeah, exactly. But let's say you have a 4x8 print that you're not satisfied with the render.
Yeah.
They can just put it back on the thing and do it again without like throwing it to the garbage,
Yeah.
because it's the material that is costly, not the print itself.
Cool. I like that. That's
it's versatile, and like you're gonna.
What's the square footage of this house?
It's 330 total.
330?
Something like that.
Yeah, this is only 8
So you can
feet
see
length by
the
10.
shower panels in the bathroom. That's two patterns that she chose. So you can see the one in the bottom and the two on the sides are different, but that's what she wanted.
Yeah.
In here, so she's got an on-demand water heater here with a filtration system that we typically use, and we always take the time to identify all the plumbing and everything, all the directions with some P-touches, so the house is easier to understand actually.
Okay, what about the sewer?
Sewer
water and
is
sewer.
is the same thing as a mobile home actually. So normally people install a skirting around the house, and the plumbing is connecting either like an RV system, or if you have city services, it's the same thing as a mobile home. So you can connect electricity and water and sewing system to the city, or you can have external tanks depending on the services available in your land actually.
Okay.
Yeah. And she has that's a combo, a washer dryer combo.
Yeah.
Some people have standard washer dryer depending on the configuration of the house, and you have some extra storage
Storage here.
Yeah. And so that one, you have these two big doors as well, so it's a custom cabinet again. And that one is a composting toilet, separate model. We recommend either separate or Nature's Head, but we can do flush toilet as well.
So this is a dining table.
And yeah, she works
Sitting area.
at her office, so she's a photographer and she works on a computer, and she needs sometimes
Oh,
people
very
like to-
nice.
So
Yeah.
it's a standing desk as well, and it's
Okay.
and it's walnut, the same material as the house.
Yeah, that's propane. And here we're gonna have
So is this the bed area here?
Sorry, we're jumping around everywhere. We'll let you guys. We'll leave. There's just so much cool stuff. Like I should be in it, you know.
So yeah, she decided to have this area there instead of a loft, and I think that's a great decision. So because of the house is an angle right now, these big drawers are kind of, because it's really like we're not to level at all,
Sure.
and because they're heavy. But I can show you. I can pull it up, pull it out actually. So there's like it's like 7 feet or almost 8 feet deep.
Snowboard.
Yeah, and she has her photography materials as well. And so yeah, there's two big ones that go like all the way to the bottom, and she's got 2 floor storage. And this is where the couch is going to be. On that side, the TV is going to be there, and we're waiting for another slab that's going to be there for like a TV shelf.
So will she have a? Do you think you're going to build a step? Or
Yeah, no, we're going to do a step. Pretty much similar to that one here for the first step, and that one actually we always like to feature
very cool,
Very nice.
and pushes away.
Yeah, to clear the space if you have some gas or everything, and you have some push. What do you call that?
So you really try to utilize all the space here. So
she's going to put her living room here.
Yeah, and she has a drum set that goes there.
No
She's gonna
way.
drum in front of the. Yeah,
that's really nice.
She wants to drum with
That's crazy.
the view and everything.
And we're gonna have a slab of walnut going there as a shelf, and we're gonna have 2 coffee tables.
And yeah, they have flip lids, so it's either a seat or a coffee table. You can flip the lid.
Say that again?
Yeah, there's going to be a TV shelf there, and we're going to fit 2 16 by 16. It's sort of a small coffee table, but it's a flip lid, so you can have it's got either a seat, that type of
so you
cushion.
can sit and talk with me, or you can use it as a table.
Yeah, exactly.
I like the window as you sit here with your living room to be able to do that. Do you
so there's going to be
I was going to say
2 small rectangle
rectangle.
shelves, wooden shelves.
Got
You
it.
can have another window if you want.
if you wanted to.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, because it would be awesome to have like another small window like that or something like that that'd be behind it. But again, even as it is now, it's really
because that here, depending on where the sun comes from, you're gonna be there's gonna be some natural light coming in from there, and there's another window on that side and on the opposite side. And there's always an egress windows in the loft because they open up like full 90 degrees and they have the proper clearance so you can escape in case of emergency, and that's really important.
Yes.
Another thing
small
that a
detectors
lot of
right there.
companies don't do in
Yeah,
tiny
yeah.
tiny
This is the
houses.
next one. She can control it by
Yeah.
her cell phone, and this is the CEO and propane alarm right there. So
Yeah, because she wants to do a little
Just
Airbnb with her house as well. So she's going to be able to see if there's an alarm that goes off from her cell phone, and she has a camera like she can see the visitors. Outside there's a small
She could
camera.
release the door with it if she wanted
Yeah,
to.
exactly.
Stuff like that.
Exactly.
Do you guys ever build in like audio or anything else like that?
No, we can do that.
That's
Actually, it's easy.
on the first one, second.
Yeah, on the first one, there was
really?
a stereo system that was built in the house, so it's not more complicated than any other 12-volt wiring at all.
So your piping, everything is. I'm just gonna open it now.
So yeah, that's the thing. You can see it goes underneath, and then there's a space between like the actual real wall, like I said, and the exterior. And with the angle, the plumbing is gathering all the way to end up in one connection. Because let's say you have the kitchen on that side and the bathroom on that side, you'll need to have to make some connection underneath the house, and we want to avoid that. We did that in one of our models, and they installed the plumbing on spot, but we don't think it's efficient actually.
And
So
where does the water storage? It's underneath, right?
there's no water storage. That one is going to be connected to a well actually.
Gotcha.
So you can either have an RV outlet, like a standard hose outlet,
Yeah.
or some city water, just like a mobile home actually.
Got
So
it.
you can have both depending on the land that you're going to do. But we always include the RV outlet, because let's say you move and there's no water on the spot, but you can have a water connection from a hose. It's always better to have that than not having the ability to connect anywhere. So that RV feature is always a nice to have, because even though you're connected, maybe at the next spot you're going to be either on someone's property and you're going to be connected with a standard hose or something.
Yeah,
but
so as long as
that's the only hybrid with an RV that we do is for connections, and RV, like that one is connected to a 50 amp or 50 amp. So that one's connected to a 50 amp cord, and but I mean, if you have the electricity from the city coming in, you can do that as well. So but you can roll it up and put it underneath the house if you don't want to use it. And so that's where
So this is where the garrett's coming from.
that's where the we need to install the small
Oh, the
guide
electricity
though.
panel. It's
But,
right here.
Yeah, and that's standard. If you want to open it, you maybe.
So what do you put in them? 60s or?
That one's a 50 because there's a lot of stuff.
This one's 100, isn't it? This one says 100. That's awesome.
Well, there's space on it, but
Yeah.
But the outlet is 50.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But the thing is with that house, she has a propane on-demand water heater running on propane, and the oven is propane as well. So you're never going to need that 50 amp at all, because all the high-consuming appliances are running on propane, and that's the first thing you want to change if you want to go off-grid. Normally, you're not going to have a standard washer dryer and an electrical hot water tank and stuff like that with solar panels, let's say. So you want to have the more stuff on propane, and the solar thing would feed your outlets.
How big are the propane tanks? Like how long?
That's
well, you can.
Like if someone's living in it full time, how often do they refill propane?
Depends on the consumption, but we have a customer in Quebec that she has heating system on electricity and propane, and it costs something like $17 per month for propane. Yeah.
Really? So electricity?
Canadian.
Yeah, Canadian. Like $14.
And that's where the 12 volts system.
Got it.
And they're all identified on the right side. Same thing with plumbing, like hot water, cold water, on off, the switches, the valve, what goes there, the bypass the filter. So everything, we like to have this like clean and neat, so people, like, you're not a master in plumbing, but as an owner, I think you should be able to kind of understand how your house works, because it's a product, it's not a house.
Now, which toilet is this one?
That's a separate. My favorite is the Nature's Head. If
that's
you want my
what you
opinion.
were telling me.
On the exactly. Because that one, it looks a little nicer, but again, the feeling is, if you can touch it, I wish I had a Nature's Head. It's all right, but the look is better than the Nature's Head a little bit, but I feel more comfortable. You see, the house is not on level, but normally what we do in like the 95%, that's it. There's some magnet strips that we normally do like that. Cool. And we need to install the handles on these, but these are custom made. So you see the notch for the plumbing and everything, so you can utilize that space. So cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and that is cedar. So there's an exterior stain, and with normally there's a coat, like a standard coating, like a protection, and we put 3 layers of a varnish on it, actually, to make sure that it's sealed properly. And there's your fan.
Man, I love the mirror that you guys did in the other one with the lights.
Yeah?
That was an awesome mirror.
This one is $700 actually. Wow.
I'll stick with the other one.
It's kind of crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, the other one.
$700.
That one?
No, the other one with the manual
okay,
with the lights.
She's talking about the one with the lights.
Oh, I was like, of course I like the
that one.
I was like, I like the cheaper one.
No, that one is
cool. Wow.
Yeah, that one is IKEA or no? C'est quoi celle-là?
Got it.
Yeah, and of course we can do a 32 by 32 shower, but she wanted a small shower, but a small bathroom, but she wanted to have like a nice shower size. So yeah.
What are
that's for the air exchanger.
Got it.
So
do you guys ever put heat lamps, but like the heaters in the bathroom come from where?
There's
here, because I feel it.
Yeah.
No? Is it just me and more people?
Yeah, I think it's wrong.
I'm like, I'm doing good. So there's technically, is there 1 zone or 2 zones then? Or not really zones, it's just one, all still powered off of that.
That one is separate.
That's separate, so it's
that's backup though, because you don't really need it, especially in California.
Yeah.
But let's say your mini split doesn't work, you don't want to end up having no heat at all.
So is that electric?
Yeah, that one's electric.
So that's electric or no?
Yeah. These two are connected together.
Oh, they are.
Yeah, but that one is your main source for heating and air conditioning as well, because it does both. It's a mini split.
Awesome.
Yeah. And so yeah, everything is pretty much her choices, color, and yeah.
Okay, we go upstairs?
Yeah, sure. And like I said, of course, it's a tiny house. You cannot go like 4 people in there, but you're gonna see that the space is well utilized. There's no handles on the closet itself at the moment, but we're gonna install them next
Oh, I
time.
like what you're
this is a
saying.
loft.
This is the area you were telling me about.
Let's say you have
here.
your clothes in your room, and then the bed takes all the place, but you cannot change while you're like that. But that allows you to drop and then can change clothes and then go up or down.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like claustrophobic in this sense.
So where did you say where you're gonna put your clothes?
Over there, you can
right
open
here.
them. Normally there's going to be handles, but they're not installed at the moment. So there's going to be a rod.
Okay. And there's drawers under here.
Yeah, you got drawers, and that one is a kick toe drawer. If you push it, there's some space on it. Maybe the mechanism is uninstalled already, but there's going to be a handle. But so you got these 3 drawers plus the extra drawer in the bottom. Yeah. So the feeling is you got the open space.
It's gonna be difficult trying to pick a layout more than anything, because I went in there seeing the video of the Magnolia, going like, oh, that's it. But like this one's very yeah, she's laughing down there. You're gonna have the hardest job talking to me, figuring out between the 12. I hope you know that.
House, I'm like, oh, this is my favorite.
Yeah.
And then,
so how many
designs
designs do you have?
12
different
if there was 3, it'd be easy, but it's like too many ice cream flavors. Now it's like,
can we take a look at the 12?
Too.
I know, but
yeah, sure, they're all on the website. We can show you pictures. You can.
Videos, but
wow. Yeah, but as of now, what we see, and actually it's a good thing for us.
Yeah.
We're starting to have people taking pieces of each models and bring it all together, because there's not 100 way to create a wise layout.
Right.
So it all depends on the future of the house. If it's for rental purposes, there's some stuff that I would never recommend, and what people do you expect to rent the house as well.
Right.
So the main floor bedroom for full-time living, for either a retirement house or something like that, that's the best you can have. But let's say you want to do some Airbnb, and a lot of people, and you know it's going to be always couples that are going to come.
Right.
That layout might be good as well, but there's some storage that you don't really need if it's for rental purposes.
Right.
So
that's what I was thinking. I was like, I don't know if I need that much storage. But the size also plays a factor. I mean, this one is, what, 6 feet smaller than the Magnolia? But it doesn't feel,
Yeah.
No, but because there was a king-size bed in the Magnolia, and
I
the
know.
bathroom was big, and then the kitchen was long, and then there was a living room at the opposite. So here the layout is different, but let's say you don't have the elevated living room. You can have another smaller loft where you can fit a single bed on it, and you would not feel it.
Man.
So.
Yeah, because like again, going in, I was like, oh, if I'm gonna do a tiny house, I might as well do a bigger tiny house. But being in this, I'm like, this is enough. I don't even know if I can go smaller than this, And it's like, all right, we got some work to do down there. I'm talking to you. We gotta figure this out. All right, very cool. Oh man.
And all the
Can
lights,
I try the bed?
Yeah.
Yeah, all the lights.
Video you.
So all the lights are LED, and they're like really thin. They're not big ones. And it's all 12 volts, so
really energy efficient. Yeah, I mean, imagine having a view from over there, and it doesn't feel claustrophobic in that area, like you're waking up.
And with the windows, that makes a huge difference.
Yeah,
and that was cool. Yesterday, you had
I would put something here.
A skylight.
Yeah, something here.
Yeah,
but
skylight is great.
But it's like, what if the sun's so bright, right?
Oh, that's true.
Right, you could. Oh, I guess at night it wouldn't matter.
You could have some really like. There are some blinds that are made for skylights, and they really don't let the.
So have you guys put a skylight, or has anyone kind of requested that before?
We never had a. We had a skylight in loft already because there was a rooftop deck, but we never did like a skylight in the master bedroom.
We are set on the layout, because if you need to add 2 feet or reduce from 2 feet, that changes a lot on the trailer, and this is what we're gonna do. So I'm gonna ask you like the must-have that you need to have in your house.
Okay.
And we're gonna modify the floor plan, and then we're gonna do the walls elevation once we agree on the floor plan. So once we agree on the size or the model that you will like, you can pay for the deposit of the trailer. We signed a sale contract to book your place on 1st July or so, and then we're gonna organize the dining tables spot area in the shuttle, total shuttle.
Yeah.
And then from there we this is a kind of a long process, and like in terms of we set on the floor plan, and then after when we all agree on the floor plan, we do the walls elevation, and then you agree on the location of the windows, and then after that we send you the design document to send you a picture of a suggestion for the floor, and then for the ceiling and for the color of the countertop and everything. So so this is kind of the whole process we go through together. And
what's that timeline look like? So I give a deposit July. What are your mile marks as far as like what you need info by when? Because it's only 6 to 8 weeks from completion almost at that point, right?
Yes, in completion, but we always keep around 2 weeks buffer zone and to test the house and to keep it here in case something we don't want to finish and then deliver it straight ahead. So we need the first 40% deposit 5 weeks before we start to order all the material, the windows, the SIPS panels, the siding, the wood that you just saw. And then when the walls elevation are up and we did all the siding and installed the windows and electricity and plumbing, we need the second 30% deposit. And then the last 20% is after, when the house is all done, and after a quality inspection from and before the delivery, we need the 20% deposit.
Got it. And what are your warranties like? Like, how does that work? It's
1 year for everything that we build, and this is the appliances warranty that we're gonna apply on the for all the appliances or anything that we haven't built, but everything that is on our side that we touch or anything, this is on our warranty.
Got it. Okay, cool. So you and me when it comes down.
Wow, that was cold over there, huh?
Cold is definitely the word.
Yeah, well, what do you feel like? I mean, we had a meeting with those people at the tiny house and took a look at the construction materials and walked inside one of the samples. Came back and talked about the design, the floor plan, how you want it. What's your feeling?
Good. They were very thorough. It was nice to be able to be informed and go through what separates them as a company and what makes their tiny houses perhaps better than other companies.
There's like 12 designs to choose from. Are you overwhelmed a little bit?
A little bit. I think that it was easier knowing going in and actually seeing it in person, knowing my space. So we really, you know, have it between a couple.
Yeah, I think you know, for me, while being there, it makes me think about my lifestyle and what I'm doing at home. You know, I really try to dissect it down to, okay, how much time I'm spending at the living room, the bedroom, the kitchen, and all that, to see what's functional and kind of narrow it down to a floor plan that's functional for you. Do you feel the same way?
Yeah, I definitely feel like you have to be able to prioritize what's important in your home to be able to make your decision a little bit easier.
Yeah. So do you feel anything different before the meeting and after the meeting with them?
Yeah, I'm a little bit more confident in being able to make a decision whether a tiny house is right for me and if I could actually live in one or not. So,
yeah, what do you see are some of the benefits of downsizing and living in a house like that?
I think simplification, which is what I was trying to get out of getting into a tiny house in general.
Okay. And do you have any concerns or thoughts that are coming through right now?
Yeah, I think that, you know, it's something very new and unique, especially bringing it to Boston. I don't know how neighbors will feel about it. Maybe the government or anybody might complain about it. I came up to Canada, but long term, perhaps what it would be like. I mean, they're new houses. So.
That's true. I mean, there's definitely a lot of things to think about, you know, especially downsizing from what you used to live, a 2-bedroom, right? Like 12,000 square feet to now 400 square feet. So that's like about 1/3 of kind of the size that you used to. But, you know, the benefit on the other hand is to simplify, and this way allows you to focus on things that are more important for you. So it's definitely a lot of things to think about because it's also something new that, you know, we don't usually see on the streets these days.